Are you having doubts about reinventing yourself? I want to talk about dealing with doubts in this video. How's it going, Reinventers? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You, the channel where you can be inspired to take your own reinventing journey so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. If this is your first time here, welcome. I invite you to watch the video all the way through and don't forget to subscribe. If this is your 7th or 8th or 200th time here, welcome back. Don't forget, watch all the way to the end of the video. And if you have been watching, you know we are in the middle of a series on reinventing yourself, dealing with some specific topics that one of you reinventors had been asking about, but simply breaking down these topics in different areas. And you get a little sneak peek at the house where my husband and I eventually will be living. There's a little bit of a change from this part of the video to the rest of the part of the video. What happened was I had done a bunch of videos, and then when I sat down to edit, I realized the first part of this video for some reason did not work. It wasn't on there. I don't know what happened to it. So I had to refilm this part. I want you to deal with your doubts, especially when it comes to reinventing yourself. Perhaps your doubts are about your age, perhaps they're about your ability, whatever your doubts are, and when it comes to reinventing yourself, I want to help you deal with them. And now we'll continue with the rest of the video from the lake. A lot of times our doubts are around the fact that we think we are too old to change, that we are too old to start again, that we are too old to reinvent ourselves. And what we have to do is say, okay, I'm not too old to reinvent myself. I'm not too old to change. And part of that has got to be letting go of trying to get everybody to like us and having everybody's good opinion. I've talked about this before. You just can't do it. You can't make people like you, and you're never going to make everybody like you. So why are you even trying to do that? What you need to do is have a good opinion of yourself. And that also means you've got to redefine what success means. Success has often been what other people think of us, what other people give us accomplishments, accolades, or they approve of what we've done, and hey, great job, or whatever. And we've got to stop saying that's a success. Success should be, for us, reinventing ourselves, should be that we've accomplished, we've done the thing we set out to do, and that is success. And if you can do that, it really will help you deal with your doubts. I think I said this in one of my previous videos, is you have to have the courage to dream and the courage to reach for and accomplish your dreams. I'm talking about really what you really want to dream, what you really want to do. And it's got to be a courage thing. It can't just be something you just put out there. It's not going to be automatic. It's going to be hard work. It's going to take some effort, but it is worth it. And that will also help you if you redefine success and redefine, whose opinion, good opinion you really need, your own. It will really help you. Now, your brain is going to want the easy way. I'm just telling you right now, your brain is going to want the easy way out. It doesn't want you to do new habits. It doesn't want you to reinvent yourself. It doesn't really want you to try new things. So it's going to constantly say, well, I don't know if you can do that. It's going to really want you to doubt. So your default pattern is going to be doubting. And it will come up again and again. It's something you may have to fight again and again and again. But you can do it. And part of being a reinvented person or a reinventor is that you're struggling with that doubt. It's not going to go away immediately. You're constantly going to be dealing with it. Now, Julia K. Christina, in one of her videos, talked about the self-sabotaging habits that prevent you from going after the life that you want, prevent you from accomplishing your dreams. When you are dreaming, it's great to have dreams, but don't self-sabotage yourself by making these dreams that are either other people's dreams or dreams that you had years ago and you didn't meet them. have new dreams, dream new dreams. That's all right. It's okay to do that. It's actually in the Bible. But make sure that when you are dreaming your dreams and you're setting your goals, that they're not impossible. And I guess what I want to say here is not that you should limit your dreams, but really seriously think about what is it you really want to do? Really want to do. One of my dreams is not impossible, but I always self-sabotage myself, and that's writing, being a writer. And it is something, it's not impossible, but I tend to throw up all kinds of roadblocks left and right. That is not an impossible dream. Now, an impossible dream could be making the bestseller list, okay? But that's not part of my dream. My dream is to be a writer and publish, but not, for me, that's success, okay? That's how I would find a success. Success is not for me making the top 10 bestseller list. And if that happened, that'd be awesome, but that doesn't mean that defines my definition of success. So I hope that is helpful for you. But one of the things I really like what Julia says is that don't let your fears define you. And I think your doubts are often combined with your fears. If you want to check out the video I did on fears, it's up here in the cards and the comments and the descriptions. But sometimes when we are fearful, then that leads to doubts, and then that sabotages us. So you cannot let your fears define you. And what can you do to take care of your doubts? You kind of have to have a contingency plan, or you have to have a way to handle when your brain goes to a certain place. I think if you find yourself slipping, if you find yourself doubting yourself, maybe you should use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to stop talking about that or thinking about that. Or breathing. One of the ways that I remember reading about Navy SEALs and how they deal with stress and pressure is they have this breathing exercise, and it's called something. It's got a name, but I'll just tell you what you do. You breathe in to a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and then count to 4 before you breathe in again. You do that like 4 times, and that really does help you. So when you find yourself having doubts, doubting yourself, your abilities, doubting yourself because of your age, doubting that you can reinvent your life, take those breaths. It will really help you. As I go through this series, I realize more and more how much our doubts, our fears, our confidence, our procrastination, all of these things work together to prevent us from reinventing ourselves. So that I can't really isolate and say this is all about fear, or this is all about confidence, or this is all about doubt, because they really are interrelated, and we just have to recognize that as we go. But another way that you can get rid of your doubt, you can't get rid of your doubt, you deal with your doubt, is to talk to somebody. I've mentioned before having a counselor or a coach or a trusted friend, somebody who's been in the arena, somebody that, you know, whose opinion really matters to you. That's the person to go to and say, hey, I'm dealing with, I just don't think I can do this. You know, help me through it. We have a private Facebook group just for Reinventers, and that can be a safe place for you to say, hey guys, I'm working on this, but I'm not sure, and having people to help you through that. Another thing that can also help is to have more positive thinking. Now, I am like the world's worst pessimist, so I'm going to think the worst thing about everything. So one of the things I have to do is to be grateful, because that helps me to think more positively. I'm having a really hard time with that in 2020. It just feels like, and I read something on Facebook, and I know it's a meme where somebody wrote, you know, everything that went from the fires in Australia that started out the year to there was some shark in the Amazon. No, that was a whale. Anyway, you know, all the stuff that has happened this year, you know, on a personal level, we lost a cat. We also have a sick dog. We're dealing with some stuff, here at the lake. We hope to retire in a year, but there's so many things. Our air conditioner is not working. We've had to cut. In fact, I've just opened the door to the porch, and I filmed some on the porch this morning because it's very hot, and we've had to close it off because it's so hot inside, and there's something going on with our septic system. And so it's really hard. We already had all these cosmetic things that we were doing here, and now we're having to deal with major, simple things that you want to be comfortable there. So it just feels like, are we ever going to be able to retire here? Are we ever going to get through this year? Are we going to get our son off to college? Will he go to college? Will he be virtual classes? How is all this going to work? And it just feels like this is a cluster, what? And so every day I have to think about, well, what am I grateful for? What are the things that have done well? I have to stop and think and be grateful for the things that we have. This place. We have a place. And it may not end up being perfect when we move here, but we have a place to live. Maybe our son may be virtually, going to college, but he got accepted, and he's going to be able to afford it, thank goodness. All these things that are happening in the world, and yet I've learned a great deal about myself, my own admissions of being, racist in terms of systemic racism that is, underlying everything, and not really realizing how I have white privilege. That's been a big eye-opener for me, but that's a personal thing. I've been watching a video series by Sonny Leonardizzo, and how did I say her name? Anyway, she's talked about being authentic and being yourself on social media, which is not usually a place where people are being authentic. And I have to be grateful for a place that I can be myself, that this is myself, that I can share that. And that coming to a realization, when I had chose to reinvent myself, I realized I needed to find a way to be authentic. I say all this to say that gratitude can really help you think more positively. Even when a lot of crap's happening in your life, it really does help. And when you think more positively, when you are able to be grateful, it really does take the tendency to doubt away, or at least muffles it. I'm just saying, like I said before, reinventing yourself, it's an ongoing process, and you're going to be dealing with doubts. So all you can do is push them aside more and more. And it's sort of like a habit. The less you doubt, the less you doubt. Does that make sense? If you less you doubt, then you're going to doubt yourself less. The last piece of overcoming your doubts is from a video by Success Insider, which I have a link below in the descriptions and the comments, and also this card up here if you would like to watch it. In Success Insider, it talks about 3 powerful tips to conquer self-doubt. In fact, it was one of the few videos that I found that actually addressed self-doubt. One of the things that I really liked what he said was to mind your language. He says, what is going on in your head? What are you thinking about? Ask yourself positively oriented questions. Think of it in terms of, well, what can I do? What are the steps that I can take? What are the ways that I can see myself as success? How can I celebrate my accomplishments? Those are some positive questions that you can ask yourself. The second thing that he says is turn your wounds into wisdom. And I think somebody else actually said that, but I really like that idea of failures become ways to figure out what you did wrong and do better. Mistakes can be lessons learned. What can you learn in the things you have not accomplished and where you haven't been successful? What are the ways that you can take those mistakes and make them into ways, well, I'm not going to do that again. I've learned from my mistakes. I'm going to, accomplish what I'm accomplished because I know that I've done this wrong, but I'm going to do it right this time around. In fact, that's really one of the benefits with being older and reinventing yourself, because you have made some mistakes and you can look back and you can say, okay, I did that incorrectly, but this time I'm going to do it the right way. One thing he says, and I think this is a direct quote, it sucked and it was painful, but I moved on. What did I learn from that experience? He said, every day do one thing that will get you closer to your goal. Every day do one thing. He said, now sometimes your palms are going to sweat. It's not going to be comfortable, but reinventing yourself is not about being comfortable. You've been comfortable. That's why you want to reinvent yourself. So don't kid yourself. You can get over your doubts. I hope this has been helpful for you. If there was at least one thing in this video that's helped you get over your doubts, give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment what that was that really helped you with your doubts. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that and join me in the next one. But before I go, I want to give you a little sneak peek for the great room here at the lake. Now I have to say right now, and many of you know this, cleaning is not my forte. So just take that into consideration. And also it's a work in progress. So you're not going to see, there's going to be some major changes in here. So I'm going to flip my screen so I can see what I'm looking at. There's going to be some major changes in this room. So I'm just kind of giving you this quick look-see. It's very, very messy in here. One thing that happens when we closed off the porch, that's usually our computer area. And so we had to bring our computers in here. We had to bring the dog's kennel in here. So you get a great, and then there's the view of the lake. You can see that. I hope that facing your doubts and trying to deal with them has been helpful for you. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great one.